Welcome back, everyone, to NYU Grads Podcast. It is Monday, September 18th. Wow, today's volume was just non existent, and it really felt like a holiday. Um, I'm not going to belabor this. It might be a very short episode, but let's jump into kind of the macro side of the markets today and look at breadth. There were 102 new highs, 376 new lows, very similar to yesterday's, outpacing new lows versus new highs. And 37% of shares were advancing versus 57% declining today. And 71% of shares are below the 50-day moving average. So we didn't really go anywhere today. When I take a look at the sectors, it was a mixed bag. Uh, what led to the upside was energy and communication services, and technology came in third. What was last or led to the downside was consumer cyclical, real estate, and healthcare. But take that with a grain of salt. We're talking about like a quarter percent to like 0.07%. So not much action on the broader market, but there were some things that stuck out today. I'll cover that. Before I jump into the actual markets, I will be including a video on the show notes of one of the last interviews of Kobe Bryant. And I keep referring back to him because a lot of people think that he was an athletic, um, he was famous for more of his athletic accomplishments, but he was also very cerebral, almost kind of philosopherish, similar to how like Bruce Lee used to be. If you're old enough and grew up around when Bruce Lee was alive, um, or just kind of read his books or saw his interviews. And he talks about controlling your emotions, right? Like not running away from them and mastering them, so you can absorb all of the emotion, analyze, and use those emotions to your benefit versus just saying, hey, don't be afraid, or, especially in trading, uh, the trading environment, people always say, hey, trade like a robot, remove your feelings, remove your emotions. And I always find that hard to do, like unless you have a switch that you can, really flick on and just become a robot. I don't think a lot of us can do that. I think it's a lot more plausible if you have the time and the headspace to analyze your own trading, your own self, your own biases, and understand them, analyze, and use them in a constructive manner for your trading. I think that's much more plausible, but that's hard, right? It's easy to say, just ignore your emotions, just trade like a robot. Very easy to say that, not easy to do. Uh, and I'm not saying controlling your emotions is easy either, or analyzing your emotions. But if you were playing this as an infinite game for the long haul, and you want to learn how to trade and manage your own wealth, I think it makes a lot of sense to try to control that environment for yourself. And I'll post that video on why I think that's important. So, not much to cover in the markets, but I think that is trading relevant. So I'll share that with you. Today on Monday, yields remain very elevated. We're about to break out here to, not lifetime highs, but near-term highs. Um, so just watch that 4.36 level here. And another thing that stuck out is the S&P 500. We're just kind of hanging out right underneath the 50-day moving average. I posted yesterday on the show notes as well as on Substack notes. We're like a coin flip away from going to all lifetime highs. Lifetime highs. We're like not 8% away. So if Jerome Powell and the Fed say the right things on Wednesday, we can get there. But we're also at the cusp of failing the 50-day moving average after a few sessions and going down the escalator to meet the 200-day. to test that. So we're kind of in this twilight zone here. We could go either way, and that's a very dangerous place to be. We don't really have a trading edge to lean on. We're kind of in limbo here at the 50-day moving average. And oil prices matter. I've been saying, to add crude oil prices to your watch list in addition to currencies and yields and bonds. Because look at the airlines. As oil is spiking here, looks like the chart looks like we're going past 100 for sure. Um, all the airlines are down. Alaskan Airlines down 1.49, Hawaiian down 2.64%. You had Southwest Airlines down 2%, JetBlue down 5.8%, American down 1.58%, United Airlines down 2.28%, and Delta down 2.5%. So oil prices definitely matter. So keep watching oil. What was strong? Not much, to be honest, that stuck out to me. Affirm, the buy now, pay later, up 2.6%. Lennar bouncing here, up 2%. Synopsis also bouncing 1.7%. What was weak? There was a lot of weakness actually. I'm not going to go through all of them, but like Shopify was down 4.6. The recent IPO ARM down 4.5. Lyft down 4. Kura Sushi down 3.8%. Tesla down 3.3%. Kava down 3%. Square SQ, I'm sorry, called Block now, down 2.99%, and Roku down 2.4%. So that's really it for today's session. It was really light trading, felt like a holiday. Keep a close eye out on Wednesday for the Fed rate decision. It's at 2 p.m. Jerome Powell talks at 2:30. Watch oil and watch economic data. All right, see you guys after the Tuesday close.